Green room. Hello, bud.
You're the last one. Complete the mission.
Well played, Andrew. Well played, Andrew.
Played, Andy boy.
Hi there, Gordico here, and I'm hopefully going to show how to do some color correction on a video, and show you also how to get it running smoothly and looking good for YouTube. So the first thing I usually do, well, the first thing I'm going to do for you is to show the project settings. So as you see, it's 720p at best full resolution, and also it's at double NTSC frame rate. So that means that usually you'd render a video 25 or 30 frames per second, but this time I'm doing 60. This just makes it a lot smoother because the HD PVR records at 60 frames per second. It just makes the video look a lot smoother, but it also adds a lot of time to the rendering. So I'd only do it for short clips, or if you're doing like a montage. I wouldn't bother with just if you're doing a whole game, or if you're doing a dispute video, I wouldn't even bother with it. So anyway, the first main thing I was going to show you was the pan and crop. So you hit that button down there, it brings up the pan and crop pane, and the next thing you do is just let's see if I can fit both these on in one go. There you go. So if I just drag these in a little bit, and you see that it fills up the screen, but it's still that black bar right at the bottom. And what you need to do is come over to maintain aspect ratio. It's under source, maintain aspect ratio, hit no. You see that it's filled up now all the way around. There you go, that's done. The next thing you're going to do is add colour correction to the video. Either use colour corrector, but I like to use colour corrector secondary. It's easier, it does exactly what I want. So just add that on, just add reset to none. So I should have said that before, just hit reset to none and just drag it onto the video. And that brings up this, and as you see nothing's changed, it's just done the standard settings that it's already on. You don't really need to worry about rotate hue, as you see it just changes all the colours, so you don't use that if you want to do a cool little effect, but otherwise just keep it on 0. Saturation, so this is how prominent the colours are in the video. So as you can see, if I up this, they get a lot brighter. If I lower it, it goes black and white. So I always add it just a bit over, about 2.5, I like it around there, wherever, doesn't really matter for the video. Gamma, gain and offset, they all do the same thing, they brighten or darken the video. So if I add the gamma, it gets brighter, if I lower the gamma, it gets darker. So you don't really need to mess around too much with those. And these ones at the bottom, you don't really need to touch. I'm not 100% sure what they do, but I just never touch them, because every time I do I mess it up. So there we go, so that's the colour corrector done. The next thing I do is the colour curves, and obviously I should have said that you want to save the presets obviously as you go along, just so you can do it very quickly every time rather than having to do this every time. See, I have colour corrections down here, or colour curves, I can just quickly just drag onto my video and it's done. But anyway, hit on colour curves, drag reset to none on, and you get this line. What this line is it shows where the dark starts and where the light starts. So if I have the dark and I put it and I just change the line so that it's darker for longer, and you see that all the dark colours, they get darker. So if you want a dark vid, that looks quite nice. But I like to have my vids quite light, so I always put it up, and the same with the light. So this is how light the top bits are going to be, or it gets light faster, if you get me. I drag that up too. So now my video is going to be quite light. As I said before, you can just mess around with these, drag the blue dots up or the blue dots across, get the grey ones, move the grey ones up and down, and that will just lighten or darken your video. You can change channel and do each one for individual red, green, blue, but I'll just keep it on RGB, it's just easier. There we go. And the last thing I do for the video itself is soft contrast. So with a soft contrast, just go on the soft moderate contrast, drag that on. As you can see already, it's given a nice effect to already. Here you don't need to really change any of these. Low trim and high trim, they just make the video darker and lighter. Contrast is just contrast. Yeah, again, how prominent the colours are, darker or lighter. I would just leave these the same. You don't really need to mess with those too much. With the vignette, so the vignette is what it's going to look like on the outside of the video. So you can have blur, which is what I choose, and you see you can have a nice blur around the sides, or you can have black if you want a black. But I like to have blur. I bring the strength down a little bit, so that pushes it down a bit. You don't need to mess with horizontal or vertical, they're fine as they are. Rectangle or ellipse, so what kind of shape you want the blur to be like. Back a bit again. So I'm going to have ellipse for this one. Soft is how soft or non-soft it is. So it's what it is how soft the edge is in the middle. So if you notice, when I go all the way down to 0, it's quite a hard edge, and you can see that it's a physical edge that I can move back and forward. So you kind of want it a little bit soft, so it kind of just fades off into the little bit of blur. The width and height you can change. It goes from the center, so if I have no width, it blurs all the way across. If I have lots of width, you don't see it blur as much. So you want kind of half and half, just depending on where you want the blur to start and finish. And that is how that's how I do my color correction. I mess around with those and get it just right for each video. Then when I go to render it, so I hit render as, I have my MP4 custom. I use my preset HD2. So I tick off allow source to adjust frame size, and I also tick off allow source to adjust frame rate. I change the frame rate to be 60 or as close to 60 as I can be, and have a profile baseline. So this means that the video will render at 60 frames per second, and then all the others are the same, keeping it 3.5 megabits, so it's the same as when I record it. The only problem with doing this all is it will increase the render time loads. So I think I rendered a 15-minute video the other day, and it took 10 hours with the color correction 60 frames per second. So as I said before, if it's a short video, or if you're doing it for a montage or doing it for something that you really care about, then it's definitely worth just doing it and leaving it overnight. Otherwise I wouldn't bother really, and just either have just the color correction or just the frame rate, or maybe neither if it's just a dispute video or something you're not going to care about. So that's it. So the original video is obviously at the start of this video that you've already seen, and I'll add what it looks like now to the end so you can compare them, and just leave me feedback on what you think. Thank you very much.
Green room. Hello, bud.
You're the last one. Complete the mission.
Well played, Andrew. Well played,
Well
Andrew.
played, Andy boy.